Hello, everybody. Hello, hello, hello. It is Sunday. Happy Sunday. How's everybody doing? One second. Hold on. Sorry, I had forgot my phone. I was like, where's that? Anyway, I had the old one here. But how's everybody doing? I hope everybody's doing good, good, good. Yep, I was running a little bit behind. I had to go tinkle before I had to come on here and mingle. Too much information, I know. But anyway, it is what it is. Happy Sunday, June 22nd. How's everybody doing today? I see beautiful Millie and Janice and me and you. How are y'all doing? What you doing? Great now. Oh, hey, Nicey Marie. Oh my God, Nicey Marie. You won yesterday. You had went out of the members live yesterday. So you got to email me so I can get you what you won, honey, to you. Just email me, okay, so I can get your information to you. It was a random thing, and I thought you were still in there. But anyway, honey, you won. You won. Millie, Panda Bear, Angel Wings, Hope Float, Stephanie Williams, everybody. I hope everybody's having a great, beautiful day. I have spent almost my whole entire day scanning baseball cards, and front and back. And I thought, well, I knew I had some more in here because I took them out. They were in a different bag. You're welcome. And I took them out of the bag because they kept getting on my nerves in the bag. And I promise you today, I thought, okay, let me scan those little bit, the little bit that's left while I've been on here all day. And I promise you, I come in here and I could not find them. I moved everything. And I just sat down and I looked. And boom, there they were. There they are. So I guess I had to go back and scan them. I was just scanning them, seeing what the prices are on them and stuff like that. That's all I was doing, just scanning the front and back. And they come from my mom's, so I was just scanning the front and back and seeing, those things. I thought I would finally do it and straighten them out and do whatever with them, separate them or whatever. And there was like over 1,000 of them, so yeah, it took me a while. You don't even want to get started on the pennies that she had. I'm not even doing that. I've tried to sit down and do that 5 times. I don't have the patience for that. I'll go down there and put them in the casino, pew, pew, in the penny machine. I'm just saying. Hey, Pink Warrior. Hello. Yeah, you can scan them and see how much they're worth and if they're worth anything or all that. I put them in different sections and all that. Yeah. All the things. Y'all got your coffee. Hey, Robin. Good to see you. So I was a little bit late coming on here, and I not a penny pincher. Hey, I know, honey, but we said, what in the heck does she have with all these? They were wheat pennies, though. We're like, what in the heck is she doing with all these pennies? Because we found a bunch of pennies everywhere and stuff, but she had this one thing. It had all of these pennies in it. I never will forget what she said to me and my brother, because, she took us to, we all went together. She didn't take, we all went. She said, hey, Kathy, and everybody coming in. She was laying there, poor thing, on her deathbed. She said, where are we going to pinch the pennies and go to on vacation this time? Honey, she wasn't lying. I pulled out this big heavy thing and had all these pennies in it. But they were wheat pennies. And, yeah, I'm not going to scan all of them. No. I don't care. It ain't happening. There could be one worth $10,000 million in there. I don't even know if that's a price, but I promise you it ain't happening. Angel Wing says, Millie been here a long time, but changed. Red flags and very not good, in my opinion. Let's see. Who else? Did we have anybody else I missed? Because I hope not. I hope not. I hope everybody comes in, and I hope everybody's had a good day. Deanna, hello. And I just want to welcome everybody and tell you I appreciate you all very, very, very much today. I am going to show y'all a video in a minute, but I was looking at this. I'm like, what has been going on? This is Owen. This guy, he did get executed, but I wanted to go over it. And he met these girls in Panama City Beach, and I think he met one over, well, he went on a crime spree. Let's say that. He started in Tallahassee, and he was caught in Panama City, but he went on a crime spree from Tallahassee on. And this was an interesting story to me for obvious reasons. And I thought I would tell it. So I hope you enjoy it. There's not much to enjoy about a crime show and Unaliver and all that. That's not what I mean by any means. But sometimes it's nice to hear different things. And it's called the Beachside Bar Killers. I'm sorry. We're in true crime, and that's what it's called. Okay. There was 2 women murdered within 48 hours, and they met this stranger at a bar, because we all have to be a little bit careful here now. I'm just saying. Hey, Angel talks too fast. Love you, girl. Hello, hello. Good to see you, beautiful Angel. And one of the, and I want to tell y'all, Angel, you might be interested in this. I don't know, but I mean, it's an old one. However, I got 117 pages of court records that I'm going to put up. I know some of y'all like to dig, and I thought, ain't no way in crap Smiley's going to read all this, but I'm going to put it up. Uh-oh. Oh, well, it sucks, huh? Hold on, hold on, hold on. Wait, shut up. Okay. Sorry, y'all. You heard that when it said that sucks. That was a commercial on something I was going to play. I know you do. Well, I got 117 of them right here. I was like, whoa. I'm like, no, Smiley ain't going to be reading all that. But anyway, if y'all hear that again, that's happened to me like 3 times. I don't know what is up with this stuff. My stuff is going wacko over here. I swear I got a ghost in here. But anyway, he met them at a bar, okay, and he even one of them led investigators to Panama City because he was stupid enough. Bay County, y'all play, honey. Hey, Lorraine Law. No, it wasn't my husband. He ain't even here. He's not even here. So y'all don't even get that in your heads. People hate channels. Please, he ain't even here. That was a commercial. Y'all see it when I go on there. I just didn't know how to shut it up. But anyway. A pawn shop here in Panama City, he stole some stuff. And so that's what got him caught. We'll get into that in just a minute. But Michael Dwayne Zack is his name. Michael Dwayne Zack III. He was born December 14, 1968 in Tallahassee. And, okay, so they said he had a bad childhood with bad childhood trauma. Now, I'm going to agree with that. However, what I don't agree with is I don't care how bad his childhood was. I don't. I'm sorry. hate me, okay? And this is a trigger warning, but in my opinion, it was no excuse for what he did. I'm going to tell you what happened that they said in his childhood. They said his childhood trauma included prenatal alcohol exposure, abuse by his stepfather, which included, trigger warning, electrocuted with an electric blanket, burned with a spoon, and threats of cars. I guess, I don't know, it just said threats of a car, beaten and tortured. Now, I do not agree with that by any means whatsoever. And as horrific and as an unimaginable, and I can sit here and cringe right now as that sounds, for what he went through when he was a child. And I would have been on his side had he have been, because he was a victim, had he have been here as a victim right now. I still say there's no reason for him to hurt and unalive the others. So let's just get my thoughts out of the way for somebody comes jumping down in here saying, Smiley said something Smiley did not say. Okay? Because when Smiley gets ready to say it, you're going to know Smiley said it. And my mods are not going to have to say, Smiley didn't say that. I'm just saying. But anyway, let's move on. I'm just bringing you a horrific story that, and you will know my thoughts when I say them, as usual. But he did witness his biological mother's murder at age 11, and he was placed in a foster care. Okay? And they tried to use that as well. Now, just think about that for a minute. I want y'all to think about what I just told you. He witnessed his mother's murder at age 11. So I want to take a deep breath. Now you're going to hear what I got to say. So if he witnessed his mother's murder at age 11, I am heartbroken over that. Nobody should ever have to witness that. However, absolutely nobody. I know people, and we know people that have. But they're the kindest people that ever was. And that is no excuse for them to ever go and harm other women and unalive them. As we get into this, you'll find out what happened. So also in his early criminal behavior, they tried to say, he had theft, probation violations, arrest. In 1994, he was jailed 8 months. And after he got out of jail, his crime spree begins. It begins in June of 1996. That's scary. That makes me think, it was a long time, but it makes me think, I was just having a baby in June 20th, matter of fact, to be exact, at that time when he was running rampant on these streets here. Of course, thank God I wasn't out going to bars and stuff like that. I was home taking care of my babies where my butt should have been. No, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying anything about the victims. I'm just saying you can run into people at the stores and all that, but I was more than likely at home. This freak was out running the streets. Okay. You had victim number 1, Lori Russo. I'm probably saying her name wrong. Russillo. And I apologize for that, or to any of her family if they ever see this. I'm sorry I said that wrong. But they met at Okaloosa Island Bar, and he invited her to the beach, it said, for rugs. And after an altercation, Zach strangled her. He dragged her body into the dunes and covered her face. The courts entered all this into evidence, also showing he stole pew-pews from his friend Bobby, and he sold them at pawn shops and all of that. I got all those court records again, as I just told you, and I'm going to post them because there is 117 pages. I don't have the time to read all of them at once, not online to y'all. Y'all are grown, and I can give them to you, and you can read them. But just remember, they too are triggering. Okay. But then the victim number 2, Ravaine Kennedy Smith, June 13th, 1996, they met on down a little bit in Pensacola at a Pensacola beach bar. Boy, he sure loved them bars. Hey, Cinderella and Chicken Lady and everybody coming in. Hello, hello, hello. So Zach attacked her with a bottle blow assault. Okay. It was a SA nature. Okay. And then he stabbed her with the oyster knife. An oyster knife now, of all things. He stabbed her with 4 times. Then he had them little sticky fingers. I hate people with sticky fingers. I do. I cannot stand a sticky finger person. I'm just saying. He took her TV, her VCR, her purse. He drove off in her car, and he pawned the items in Panama City before fleeing. He also stayed in an empty house here. Yes. Sure did. Thank God the pawn shop person got this ball rolling. But the arrests occurred in Panama City 3 days after all these crimes. He was hiding in an empty house. I call him a coward. He was an old coward. He shouldn't have been on that long of a crime spree, but he was. In 1997, he was convicted of the murder and the S battery and robbery. And for Smith's murder, he was recommended death 11-1 for the first victim's life. Now, the defense focused on mental health. They focused on the fetal alcohol syndrome, PTSD, brain damage, IQ splits around 79. The prosecution emphasized calculated killings, robbery, motive, premeditation, all of that. 6 aggravating factors led to the death sentence. Probation status, robbery, avoiding arrest, and heinous nature, premeditation, and for financial gain. He was denied relief. Yeah, he was bold, Nicey. He was bold. He was denied relief on appeals, citing mental impairment and intellectual disability. They did execute him on October 3rd, 2023 via lethal injection. Now, in his final statement, he expressed remorse and he apologized to victims and the family, which, I don't know. I can't speak for any of the families. I don't know how I would feel. Sometimes forgiveness is better for yourself than it is for others, in my opinion. But he gave some weird statements, and I will post that statement as well. It was a pretty wild one because he had a written statement too. But on Tuesday night, 54-year-old Michael Dwayne Zach III was executed by lethal injection in the U.S. state of Florida. He was sentenced to death for the 1996 murder of 2 women on a crime spree. Now, this was his written statement. He expressed remorse and stated that he was addicted to alcohol and drugs at the time of the crime. As the Association Floridians for Alternatives to the Death Penalty describes, his time on death row was for Michael Zack the most stable and kindest of his life. As observed, I can't even say it right now, observed as that may seem, of his background, the organization reports Michael and his 3 sisters, and there's a reason, there's something I want you to hear here. There's a Michael and his 3 sisters experienced an unimaginable childhood of horror. Michael grew up in his alcoholic mother's womb and was born premature. After her car accident, his biological father left the family shortly thereafter, and his mother's next husband statistically abused Michael and his sisters. At the age of 3, he was hospitalized after his stepfather fed him alcohol and drugs. He was kicked, punched, and thrown against walls. He was humiliated and tortured for wetting the bed and forced to wear a urine-soaked sheet around his neck. Whew. And stand still while his father burned his private parts. Wow. With a heated spoon. When he was 11, his mother was murdered with an axe, after which Michael fell into the care of the foster system. There was somewhere in here, I'm not sure, but I think, and it might say it in here. I had it earlier, you know how I lose things, but if I'm not mistaken, and I don't want to put it on his sister, let's just keep reading. Anyway, I'm just wondering what happened to his mom. So thank you so much, Raymond. Thank you for the 5 gifted memberships. Oh my goodness, Raymond, that was so kind of you. Woo! Thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate that, Raymond. Thank you. You're too kind. Thank you. Yeah, that was sad. Oh my God, like, ugh. So he fell into the care of the foster system that failed him even more. And I can believe that, y'all. I can believe that. This is making me cringe. Read this. His final words show that Michael Zack has taken responsibility for his actions, but also his story is one of remorse and an attempt to make amends. A second chance is in the form of a life sentence instead of death. Sentence would also have been desired by the 3 sisters, who also addressed the public with a public statement. So I don't think I got that statement, but anyway, oh my God. Whew. I'd like to see their statements though. I don't think I got that one. But the pawn shop encounter in Panama City was what led to his capture and what ended his crime spree. Now, Zack was on a total of a 9-day crime run that ran from Tallahassee here to Panama City, to all these bars. When Zack's girlfriend called and said he was being evicted, this is what I guess triggered him. It triggered him and allegedly made him go on this crime spree because his girlfriend told him he was being evicted. Man, people, nothing is worth. Good Lord, I'm just saying. According to court records, Zack drove to a bar in Niceville, Florida, in the Panhandle, where the where he befriended a construction company owner. The man learned Zach was living in his pickup truck and offered to let him stay in his home. So Zach later stole 2 of his pew-pews and $42. So that's the thanks that the man got for trying to help him. I'm just saying. He pawned the pew-pews, according to court records, at yet another bar. He met victim number 1 and invited her to the beach to do rugs. And then he beat her, dragged her, and partially threw her clothes and threw her into the dunes. He choked her and he kicked her and put sand over her face and covered her, according to the court records. The next day, he went to Pensacola, where he met Smith, the second victim. The two went to the beach to smoke pot, and later she took him to her home that she shared with her boyfriend. At the home, Zach smashed her over the head with a bottle, slammed her into the floor, roped her, and stabbed her 4 times in the center of the chest with the oyster knife. Court records show he stole the woman's television, VCR, and purse and tried to pawn them. Okay. Yeah, I think we are going to get to where I want to be. Okay. So I want y'all to hear this because I want to make sure I'm hearing this right. The pawn shop suspected the items were stolen, and Zach fled and hid in an empty house 2 days before he was arrested, according to the court record. And it went on and on. I promise y'all, it went on and on. There was more, but it went on, and y'all just have to do that yourself. But he said he became enraged, okay? He became enraged with this second one because he admitted it, and he said he became enraged because the reason he said he beat her, and again, there's no excuses to me. This is just to me, okay? But it was because she made a comment about his mother's murder, which his sister committed. So right there, I don't know if his sister unalived his mother, or I don't know if the lady, he might have told her about it, and she said something into the effect that it was his sister, and he got real pissed off. But that unnerved him, or that's what he said allegedly, and that's what made him mad. And he said, which I think this is, in my opinion, what 96 point people say, is then he said, which I don't see how, I wasn't there, so this is just me saying this. So then he says, after that, he said he thought she was going to another room to get a pew-pew, and he thought his life was in danger, so that's when he stabbed her. I don't know about all that after she had the shit beat out of her, but possible, I don't know. But that don't still excuse the other first victim, does it? I don't know, y'all. I really don't know. I wasn't there. I'm just bringing y'all the story. So welcome in, everybody. I don't think, in my opinion, and it could have been that was true, but I don't know. What do I know? So he met her. He invited her to the beach. He beat her. He dragged her and all that. And then you're going to tell me he was in fear for his life? That don't make sense. So his execution, again, he did get executed. There's really no point in nobody getting mad at nobody now or saying anything. He was executed. They say he had remorse. He said he was sorry to the families. He made a written statement. There's nothing you can do about anything now. He has to answer for what he did. But it was, let's see, it was the 8th. It was the 8th. Let's see, hold on a minute. Let me get this right. I should know this. So since 2019, it was the 6th. Hell, I'm saying this backwards. What is wrong? Okay, yeah, it was the 8th under Governor Ron DeSantis since 2019. I'm saying it all backwards. Of executions carried out from 20 to 22. I'm telling you, Florida does not play, and it don't pay to come here, and think it does, because it don't. Panama City played a huge part in his capture, and again, I can't explain to you enough how important it is to be careful when you're out like that, when you meet people, to always be vigilant, to always stay alert, be careful. It's a reminder that danger's out there, and even evil hides in paradise. And it's a reminder that it does. Let's watch this video right here.
What would we even do? Add a bunch of moose swirls and mix-ins like Oreo cookies or Pop-Tarts pieces? That's kind of genius, actually. For a fresh way to Frosty, gotta be Wendy's.
Oh, God, we got to get through all these. This is what I was afraid of. Hold on.
Project. WEAR Samantha Serban listened to the board's discussion this morning, and Samantha, the return on investment, big part of the conversation.
Right, Bob. So spending $25 million, county commissioners acknowledged that
they've learned that that report was fabricated. They say the boy who made those claims.
Hours of investigating and asking the community for support. The Niceville Police Department is no longer investigating an attempted child abduction.
Oh my
Police
God.
made the initial report on the Wednesday, saying a boy made reports of an
I think it's going to be after
unidentified
this.
white male and trying to forcefully
I hate it when
the
these
child,
news things are like
happening
this.
in the
Hold on
area
just a
of
minute.
37th Street.
On Thursday, police announced the boy fabricated the story. Here's WEAR's Karis Harmon.
Keep in mind, this is old.
Parents who live in the area tell me when they first heard about the attempted child abduction, they say it sent the whole neighborhood into a bit of a scare. And now that they've learned that that report was fabricated, they say the boy who made those claims should face charges.
I really couldn't
That's a false
believe it's
report.
happening in this area.
One man who did not want to show his face on camera says after hearing the report of an attempted child abduction, it shook up a lot of parents and families in the community.
Hey,
Freaked my
Leslie.
kids out and me and my wife out. So these kids just need to be careful.
In the
y'all, we
initial
ain't on the
report,
right
Niceville
name. Just
police
hold
say
on.
it began investigating a report of an attempted child abduction earlier this week. At the time, a juvenile
this
told
doing?
police he was walking home when he was approached by a white male driving a Navy.
Be live until Sunday evening.
That sucks. If this happens to you, don't wait. Call Lloyd's Glass right away. Act fast before that little chip spreads into a big crack requiring a full replacement. Save time and money, and if you prefer, Lloyd's Glass will come to you. Call today.
Escambia County deputies shot and killed a man at the Arby's restaurant on Highway 98 in
Oh my
Pensacola today.
God.
Family members are identifying
Citizens deserve.
in this.
Samantha Serban, WEAR News.
That sucks. If this happens to you, don't wait. Call Lloyd's Glass right away. Act fast before that little chip spreads into a big crack requiring a full replacement. Save time and money, and if you prefer, Lloyd's Glass will come to you. Call today.
Escambia County Sheriff Chip Simmons today justifying his deputies' use of deadly force yesterday. Simmons says body cam video shows the exchange with the suspect lasted less than just 1 minute. Deputies say 37-year-old.
I don't know if this is
Daniel?
this will come
In the
after this
studio,
or not.
I'm Tanner Stewart.
Why is it doing that? I don't know. It's showing everything but that, and it says right at the very top. Look at that. Let's see if it comes after that. I know, Nicey Marie.
That sucks.
Look, that's
This
all they
happens
know how
you,
to
don't
say.
wait. Call Lloyd's Glass
Hold on,
right
wait.
away. Act fast before that little chip spreads into a big crack requiring a full replacement. Save
Why are
time
they
and
playing
money,
everything
and
but
if you
that?
prefer,
It was up
Lloyd's
there
Glass will
earlier.
come to you. Call
Y'all are
today.
gonna hear the whole Panhandle News down here.
Boys and girls from 5 to
Really?
12 running drills and having fun. Push Performance just hosted their first Little Legends sports session this week. They have several more coming up. It's free. It's a great chance for kids to get outside, have fun, and learn
Hold on.
new skills. You can never get enough of it. And
We're gonna
here
do
to tell
this.
us more about the program, we have
That.
the organizers, former NFL wide receiver Dominic Hickson and his wife Ruth and their beautiful children.
All right, forget you. Okay, we're gonna listen to this through my phone. Okay, this is and it's still WEAR. I think that's who that is. All right, let me give credit to them because they did cover it, but it's a different. Let's listen to WEAR here. What y'all doing on your computer, son?
Homes.com's
Oh, really?
comprehensive search layers.
Now we gotta
cover an
listen to
array of environmental
Homes.com.
factors. With just a few clicks, you can find homes with a low flood, fire, heat, wind, noise, and air factor. Because you don't.
All right, here we go.
Tonight, the state of Florida executed its 6th inmate this year. Michael Zach died by lethal injection in the Florida State Prison in Stark shortly after 6 o'clock Eastern time. Zach was convicted of the murders of 2 women in Northwest
I want
Florida.
to see his
and
picture.
received the death sentence for the
He's
rape and
not
murder
a
of
bad-looking guy.
Tanner Stewart
He
was
wasn't.
a witness at the execution today.
The death sentence of the state of Florida versus Michael Dwayne Zach III was carried out 6:14 this evening at the Florida State Prison. Just 10 minutes before this, we heard from Zach in his last words, "I love you all." My day as a witness to the execution began hours before when prison officials briefed us in front of these vans that drove us behind prison walls. Once inside, I waited roughly 35 minutes with other members of the media before being escorted to the execution viewing room. It was complete silence for another 30 minutes. Of the 20 witnesses in attendance, none hardly moved a muscle the entire time. There was a curtain covering a window to the execution chamber. When it dropped, Zach looked to the crowd before a prison official called the governor to confirm the death warrant. His last words to the witnesses came just after 6:01. 4 words: "I love you all." His eyes stayed open until the injection started. Zach's eyes quickly closed, and we saw very little movement after this. Within 5 minutes, one of 3 officials in the room checked to see if Zach was conscious. One yelled his name twice, but there was no response. At 6:13, a doctor was called in to check his vitals. He was pronounced dead 1 minute later.
I have been asked to read Michael's final statement.
Outside, protesters argued against this punishment, reading this final statement from Zach.
I did things that have hurt a lot of people, not only the victims and their families and friends. I make no excuses. I lay no blame. But how I wish that I could have a second chance to live out my days in prison and continue to do all I can to make a difference in this world. And finally, to Governor DeSantis and the Clemency Board, I love you. I forgive you. I pray for you. Michael Zach.
The execution of Michael Zach marks the 8th under Governor Ron DeSantis' administration and just the 6th this year. Reporting outside the Florida State Prison, I'm Tanner Stewart.
Yeah, I don't know who said they didn't know how they feel about it. Leslie. Yeah, I don't know how I feel about it either, unless it's well deserved, like in children's or something like that. Honestly, I can tell you this: I would not want the job of pulling, or I wouldn't want to work there. I know somebody has to do it. I wouldn't want to be the one to inject or do it. I just wouldn't. I wouldn't want to be on a jury to make that decision either. I just wouldn't. But, again, the crimes that they commit, they know what they're committing, and they know that the chances that they're taking. Like I said earlier, and I don't know who was all in here and who was not in here. I'm sorry for the things he had to go through as a child. And there were some horrific things. At that point, he was a victim. He was a victim. Then he saw his mother get unalived right in front of his eyes when he was a young kid. I can't imagine. However, that does not give him the excuse for what he did. There's very people that we all know and they're kind-hearted, good people. It's like if you have cancer. Yes, but we didn't have to put their name in here. It's like if you have cancer, if you have any kind of illness, if you have anything like that, it does not give you the excuse or the right for a free pass to do anything that you wish to do in life. That's the way I see it. Not to be mean, not to be hateful. Yeah, sure, people's going to have their bad days, just like me. Just Just like me, and I go through a lot. People don't know. And I do. And I yell at y'all. I yell at people. Sometimes I have the right. Sometimes I'm pushed, and sometimes I don't. But it don't give me the right to go out here because my life is bad or whatever and take the life of others. It just don't. There's no excuse. So no, I can't. I don't understand it. I don't get it. It is hard. He was a victim, but he grew up and he had a choice to change. But to see that done to your mother and then go out and do that, he should be more kinder to women, if nothing else. Period. But I don't know. But what I'm going to do is, I thought that was an interesting story. I've got lots more. And I thought what I would do is put that 117 pages up there of the court records. It is storming here again. Y'all probably hear that. So y'all can go through the court records and have at it. Because it is interesting. And if you get, if you get bored, you can look at them. But it is something. And in fact, let me see if I can get them on there right this minute. Hold on. So I don't, let me just see. Hold on. And if I can, I'll just put them up right now. Okay, here they are. Yep. Hold on. Let's see. Copy. Okay, hold on. Okay. Let me type his name or this case in. Let's see. I'm just gonna. Let's see. Hold on a minute. I'm just going to put it on there. It's so much. I'll just put, yeah, it's up there. I'll just put, it heard me talking. Lord have mercy. Let me edit that. I put it, won't let, hold on a minute. Lord have mercy. My phone is so stupid sometimes. I'm just going to put as promised. Yeah, I just want to make sure that y'all could click it. So it is. It's from the Library of Law at FSU. It's all in there digital. So all you got to do is click on it. It's on. It's all there. But yeah. So this storm. Oh my God! I wish y'all could see it. It looks like it is. It is wild out there now. Lord have mercy. But anyway. So anybody who's out there, just remember, these drifters are out there. People are out there. No matter what paradise, whether it's your home or you're on vacation or anything, always stay vigilant. There's somebody out there lurking. It is. And there's always somebody out there. Just trust your gut instinct always. And for those coming in who didn't know, Zach was executed on October 3rd, 2023. And his final statement of remorse, was there. He did put it down. And if you ever need any help or in a domestic violence situation, always reach out. There's someone there 24/7, and you can always call 911, or you can call that National Violence Hotline at 1-800-799-SAFE, because silence shouldn't be a death sentence for anyone. Okay? And I hope you all have a great day. And I'm going to get something else together, and I'll see y'all again in a little bit. Y'all have a great evening. Love you all. Thank you for being here, and thank you for everything, Raymond. Love you. Bye.